Thank you, Randy. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having Chris. I would just like to make a comment on what a good job and what an outstanding partner Chris is with me in the administration of our department. He does a great job, and I just appreciate his good work and what he does in the community, helping in our code enforcement area. Just a little bit of background on me. I've been in the fire service about 28 years. I started out, I'm originally from Dobson. I moved over here when I got married and got my job. I started out in 911 telecommunications, got my job with Mount Airy, worked here for about 11 years in the suppression division. Traveled, I had a family and wanted an 8-to-5 job, so I found one in Winston-Salem as an assistant fire marshal for the city of Winston-Salem Fire Department. Stayed down there about 4 years, got some good experience, and then when the chief's job come open up here, was lucky enough to be able to be selected for that position, and come this weekend be here in that position for 10 years. We've got a great team. We've got, as I said about Chris and all the shift supervisors, we've got an excellent staff that has the public's concern and their safety at the utmost, what they strive for each day that they come to work. And you will find that in most firefighters and public servants' hearts, that is what they come to work for. It is, like you said earlier, Randy, it is a calling. It's a calling. It's not a career that you're going to get rich in as monetarily, but you're going to get rich in fulfillment. And fulfillment is by helping that person, whether it's on the worst day of their life, help save their house, help save one of their loved ones on a medical call or whatnot. But that's what we strive for here at our department, and we're proud of that service that we provide. Just a little bit of some facts and stuff about our department. We were established in 1904. We're solely funded through the tax base, through our general fund, through the city. Any donations that we do ever get is funneled through our Ladies Auxiliary. And just to throw this out there, our Ladies Auxiliary now is currently working on a project where we're trying to restore a 1968 fire engine. Right now, it's having some radiator work done on. It's been gone quite some time, but we do get donations every so often, and they do go toward trying to restore that truck, because restoring an old fire truck is not really cheap. It's quite expensive, and it takes a lot of time as well. So I'd like to thank our ladies for taking on that project. We have 2 stations here in the city of Mount Airy and 41 positions. We have 6 personnel on a shift. They include a shift captain, 2 fire lieutenants, and 3 firefighters on a shift each day. We have in our administration, of course, it's myself, Chief Fallaw, and we have an administrative assistant, Misty Fleming. She answers the phone and takes your permits and enters records and does our annual reporting and does a good job at that. We have about half our staff of our department, which as I said, we have 41 positions. We have 18 of those as a part-time or fire reservist. Now, these part-time are trained to the level of firefighter. They have their firefighter certifications, they have their EMT certifications, and they come work shift. They are allowed to work up to 1,000 hours per year. And then we have also a position called the fire reservist, and it's more like a volunteer firefighter. It's someone that's just out of school and wanting to get into a fire service career. They come aboard and they interview with us and come aboard, and we send them to school, and a lot of times they're the top candidates for the next part-time position that comes open. So we're really proud of those 2 programs as well. We're a full-service fire department for fire emergencies, medical emergencies, rescue emergencies, hazmat incidents. We're closing in on almost 2,000 calls per year. And that was according to last year's data that was given in the annual report in the commissioners meeting in January. We always submit an annual report every second meeting in January to the council members on the fire department. And as I say, we almost hit the 2,000 call mark last year. Of course, that's going to tremendously decrease this year due to the COVID-19. And I'll speak to that here in just a minute, but the COVID-19 pandemic has affected that quite somewhat. We have over 100 lives saved in our medical program, which beginning at its inception in 1997, when we started responding to cardiac related emergencies only, and expanded that program in 2010 to incorporate all medical emergencies within the city limits of Mount Airy. So we're the only department that I know of in Surry County at this point, fire department, that has over 100 lives saved. So we're very proud of that. Our guys are really aggressive in their treatment. They get in there and they get their hands dirty. They know that there's a critical time frame of which to affect the outcome of a patient. So they get in there and they start aggressively treating their patients, making sure that what they've been trained upon and what they're doing, they're carrying that out and making sure that we're getting the best possible service to our citizens in every, whether it's a medical call or whether it's a fire call. There's an old saying in the fire service, the average person in our community has a fire emergency one time in their entire life, that the fire department is called to their home for a fire emergency. So that's a lot of pressure on us to be able to make sure that have a good first impression every time when we go out, and that's what we strive for. We are also light rescue certified. We have the Jaws of Life. We have 3 sets of Jaws of Life. We have one on each engine on each end of town, and we also have one on the supervisor's vehicle. So we do provide that service as well. We've been providing that service since 2015. We try not to be a reactionary fire department. We're a proactive fire department, which means, back in, the history of the fire department has been that of being reactive. We get the tone, we get the call, and we respond to the call, and we go put the fire out. Nowadays, the fire department and the fire service has transformed into where it's more of a proactive type response to the community. And that we do several projects and different things in the community in the proactive arena. We're, of course, conducting fire inspections. We're doing public education programs, whether that be inside of nursing centers, whether that be at businesses. We're also conducting fire extinguisher classes, whether it be on site or here at the fire station. We also offer CPR classes once a month here at the fire department. We offer, or we go out twice a year and do smoke detector canvassing in some of our higher risk areas of the city. And that information is given to us by our incident reporting system and data. It's a data-driven system provided to us by our communication center. We go out 3 nights in the spring and fall and just go out and go door to door, knocking on people's door and say, hey, would you like for us to do you a home fire inspection and put up any smoke detectors that you might need? So, and that program we have seen the benefits from that program. We've actually had one house that was saved due to one of the smoke detectors we installed. We had a little cooking fire on Spring Street one day that Spring Street was one of our zones that we hit during one of our canvasses. That smoke detector alerted the occupants and they were able to escape without any harm. So that's just the fruition of one of our programs coming to the forefront, and we're really proud of that. I know earlier I mentioned what we're in some of the questions surrounding our response to COVID-19. COVID-19 really did a number on us as a department as far as our call responses. we want to be out there and we want to be helping the community. However, and it's completely understandable. At 911 now, when you call, they ask you a set of questions, and if you respond positively to any of those questions regarding the COVID-19 or coronavirus pandemic, if it's any related symptoms to that, they're going to screen us out of those calls because they don't want to affect the first responders. And so EMS is going only. So that's cut our call volume quite a bit. And, the guys are still sitting around saying, we want to go out and help, but they also, we don't want to risk any exposure, because an exposure in the firehouse could really be catastrophic to a shift. It could go, because these guys live together for 24 hours. Our shift scheduler is 24 hours on and 48 hours off. The guys basically live here in the fire station. They have bedrooms, they bring meals, they cook, they clean. Especially during the pandemic, we've been cleaning extraordinarily, light switches, keyboards, and that type of thing, but they live here. And if the virus got in here and infected one of the guys, it could very, very easily be transmitted to the rest of the department. So we fully agree with being screened out of some of those calls, because, we are a fire department first. And that's what we've got to make sure that we are able to provide that service. One of these days when this pandemic is over, we're going to be back out there and back answering a lot of calls, and that day will come, and we're going to be ready for it. We were ready for the pandemic, other than, basically preparing a little bit more in personal protective equipment. We had to make some purchases of that, but we deal with contagious viruses and diseases all the time in our normal responses. So we just had to add a lot more of PPE, but we were ready for this pandemic, and luckily so far we haven't really had an exposure, and we want to make sure that stays that way. But we hate that we're not being able to do still, the fire stations are technically closed to the public during the governor's phase 2 protocol. We're still not able to get out and do fire inspections or public education programs, which so many of our guys love to do. But one of these days, hopefully in the near future, that's going to be lifted, and we're going to be able to get back out into the community and make sure that the community knows we're there. And we're going to help make this whole community safe. And the guys work really hard in doing that, and we are looking forward to getting back out and doing some more of that same activity here in the near future. So, Randy, I see that there has been a question about the hiring freeze, and I know that's been a hot topic of conversation lately. And I see one of the questions being if we ever thought about applying for the SAFER grant. And that answer is yes. I actually proposed that back years ago. I think it was either about 2011 or 2012. And, at that current time, it was just discussed amongst myself and the manager that it would be hard pressed to bring on some people through the SAFER grant. And then in 3 years, if we didn't have the budget money to fund them, having to lay them back off. So we didn't want to bring people on, and then in 3 years having to lay them off or let them go. So yes, that has been an avenue we have explored and thought about, but was unfortunately not able to pursue.